Oh yeah, return to that punk rock shit for that ass. Yeah. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of The Row Show. As always, I am your host, Jay. Who else but me? And today, not only is it the first week in November, I have no idea where this year's went. None at all. This has been by far the fastest year of my life. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. My guest today is the one and only Insane E. This is a guy that I've known for, almost 10 years now. It's crazy that it's been that long. Yeah, I've been going on 10 years now, and one of the most talented graphic designers I've ever known, a hustler that is always out there working, whether it be doing music, and I won't give away too much of what he does, because hence we talk about it in the episode, but he's always grinding, doing something, and I got a lot of respect for people like that, obviously. So it's great to have him on. Much appreciation to him for jumping on the show, because I think he's got a great attitude as far as his outlook on underground music, and just in life in general. Just somebody that's never rubbed me the wrong way, no matter how many times I've interacted with him. And that is rare, especially when it comes to music, because you deal with a lot of egos, and a lot of different personalities. And it never really seemed like I dealt with that with him, any of my interactions with him. So really, really proud to know this guy, and really glad that he was willing to come on and talk to me. So yeah, we will get into the interview here in a little bit. I hope everybody had a great Halloween. And as we get closer and closer to Thanksgiving and crappy weather with snow and ice, let me just remind everybody, please don't drive like a fucking idiot. I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here, and I apologize about that ahead of time. Why the fuck does everybody think they're in a goddamn Fast and the Furious movie anymore? Everybody drives like they're invincible. It fucking kills me. From truck drivers to people in, hey, again, we're going into the cold season. Just because you have four-wheel drive, that doesn't mean you can drive on ice safely. You put everybody else's life at risk. And I take this shit personal. I know I got a little bit of a smile on my face if you're watching, the intro, because it just, I don't know. If I don't laugh, I'll rage. But hey, my sister died in a car accident. You're not invincible. You're not bulletproof. Anybody can die. And the sad part about all this is that I guarantee you that there's a large chunk of car accidents in this country that result in fatalities that could have been avoided by just not driving like a fucking idiot. So can we please not do that this winter? Please? I'm begging you. I want you here back on this show for the rest of my life and the rest of yours. And I hope that's not going to be like 2 months from now. So calm the fuck down, everybody. Let's take it a little bit easy. Relax out there. You don't have to cut me off so you can get to the same fucking exit 2 seconds faster than when I would have gotten there. So knock it the fuck off, okay? Anyway, don't know where that really came from, but hey, we're heading into that time of year. So I just wanted to put that out there. But anyway, while I have you here, and before we get to my sponsors, let me just remind you to go to my Patreon account. Absolutely free of charge to join. Go ahead and go to www.patreon.com/therowshowpod. It is 100% free to join, and I'm going to be doing a lot of my stuff on there from right at the start of next year, 2025 on, because I'm tired of fighting social media algorithms. It's a pain in the butt, and I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff on there as opposed to some of the other platforms. So if you enjoy the show, you want to support it, go on over to the Patreon account and join. It's absolutely free. I've got bonus content on there. I've got a cool story about how I almost ruined my King Shamrock interview. I'm doing giveaways over there. I'm doing all kinds of stuff on there. It's a way I can interact with the people who enjoy this show and want to see more of it. So go ahead and head on over there and join. It's absolutely free. What are you waiting on? Again, that's www.patreon.com/therowshowpod. Also, wherever you're watching or listening to this on, be sure to like and subscribe, whether it be a YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, whatever. Like and subscribe, because that helps me more than you know. It might be something real small to you, but to me, it means the world. So if you have done that already, thank you so much. You help keep this show going, and I appreciate it. So anyway, enough of my babbling. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to my sponsors, and we'll get into my interview with the very talented and one of my homies, Insane E. Here we go, y'all. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Jay, and I'm here to tell you about my sponsor, W Energy. Now, what is W Energy? Well, I'm going to tell you because I myself use W Energy. Here I've got this Calio cream. It's got a great flavor to it, and not only that, it is clean energy. Energy that's not going to make you crash, not give you the jitters. I've been looking for a reason to drop all my old energy drinks that were unhealthy for me. Too much additives, too much trash in it, too much stuff that's going to make you crash, make you fall asleep at the end of the day. Not W. So how can you get your hands on some W to try? I'm going to tell you how. And I'm going to tell you how to save some money while you do it. Go to www.w.gg and at checkout, type in my new promo code, and it is Who Else. That's right. The promo code at www.w.gg is Who Else. Because, hey, who else but me, your boy Jay? I wouldn't steer you wrong, right? And when you do, make sure you tag your boy. Let me know you got some, you tried it, and I know you're going to love it. All right, everybody, it's time to stop and let you know about today's sponsor of the show, Crazy Martin's in Piqua, Ohio, one of my favorite places in the entire world to go to. Crazy Martin's has provided their customers with quality products for over 20 years, from ashtrays to water pipes and everything in between. Stop in, check out their selection, and of course, check out their pinball machines. With over 20 pins to choose from, there is something for everyone. Crazy since 1996. I don't just say this about every place. I love going to Crazy Martin's. I've always loved going to Crazy Martin's ever since I was of age to go to Crazy Martin's. It's one of my favorite places in the entire world. Me and my wife go there almost every Sunday to play pinball machines. It is one of the funnest spots in Ohio you could possibly find. It is in Piqua, Ohio. Check out their website at www.crazymartins.com. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of The Rose Show. As always, I'm your host, Jay. Who else but me? And today, my guest is somebody that I've known for quite a while now. There's a certain group of people that you meet when you're in underground music where it's like your paths will always cross no matter what it is you're doing. And this guy is one of them. It is 10 years now, I want to say it's almost been. And there's a reason why. Yeah, at least. And there's a reason why, is because this guy is one of the most talented dudes I know. When it comes to graphic arts, second to none. When it comes to work rate, second to none. Always doing something, always putting his name out there, always got a project going. And again, the talent speaks for itself. But we'll get into more of that here in a little bit. His name is Insane E. My friend, how are we doing today, bro?
Oh, yeah. It's good to see you, man. I just seen you recently. I'm doing real good. Everything's going real good. Just staying busy.
Hey, I know you do. I know you do. Like I said in that short little intro, man, you're one of the people I respect in this game the most, because you've always got something going on. You're always grinding. You're always doing something. And that's how we talked about this a little bit before we hit record. Is that's how it is, man. When you want to keep your dream alive, you got to keep pushing. You got to keep moving forward. And I know there's been times where, and we'll start the interview here in a second, but I know there's times even doing this podcast, where there's been like, I just need a break. But if you take a break, you die. So there's no, you have to keep moving. You have to keep pushing. And you are.
Even if it's not, even if you're not working on this exactly right like this, you got other shit that you're already working on. You just keep moving. That's the only way to stay moving. You just keep doing shit, for sure.
Yep. Exactly. Well, let's go ahead and start at the literal very beginning. Pretend I'm somebody who doesn't know anything about you. Talk to us about how you got interest in doing what you do now.
I mean, I grew up as a juggalo, definitely getting into ICP and Twiztid from like 8th grade. And from the moment I heard the Great Malenko, I was hooked. And then it was just on from there. And that inspired me to, draw things from the lore of the Dark Carnival and Twiztid's background and things like that. And which also spurred into me wanting to do music. We always, back in the day, we did some stuff like karaoke. Like we just do karaoke mini gatherings where we would pretend we were ICP or Twiztid or Blaze, or, we had a whole squad of people that were, this dude was Jamie, this dude was Jay, this dude was, I was Shaggy for when we were doing that stuff. And we would just throw our mini gatherings and then it, started happening where this dude came to town. His name is Mike. He started a group called No Clue Records, and he brought a beat machine and the free version of Pro Tools to Lisbon, Ohio, and we all got together and just started writing raps, and we started, jumping into that world where we were making our own music, even though it wasn't the best production quality at the time. We were having fun with it, and me and four other guys got together and we put out a Christmas album, and that spurred into what No Clue Records became, and No Clue Crew, and yeah, there's a lot of history there, but that's where it all started in Lisbon, Ohio. 2004 is when we put out our first album.
Oh, hell yeah. So how did you first get introduced? And this is something that I ask everybody that's in the underground scene because I just find stuff like this interesting. How did you first get introduced to ICP and Twiztid? Because I mean, granted, in Ohio and in Michigan, and I guess you could even say maybe even a little bit of Kentucky, we were kind of spoiled in this area with exposure. It was all up and down I-75. But how did you get exposed to it at first?
Well, it was just I remember sitting there specifically the moment I first seen what ICP was this kid that I was in school with, 8th grade. We're sitting in the bleachers before homeroom starts or whatever, before going to school, and he's like, I got this CD and I want you to draw this cover for me. And he hands me the Great Malenko album, and he's like, I just want you to draw this for me, because I was already known for being an artist in my school and everything. And so kids would always come to me and ask me to draw them pictures and shit. So he handed me the Great Malenko and asked me to draw the cover, and I said, I'll draw this, but I want to listen to it too. Like, let me take this home and let me hear it, And immediately I was in love, like definitely fell hard into that scene. We were two juggalos in the entire school, him and then me now. And then I don't know if you know Violent Jess, Jessica Bott she's living out in Columbus now. She's a good friend of mine. She moved to my hometown and ended up going to my school. And then so the kid that got me into it, and then me, and then she moved into town, and we were the only 3 juggalos in the entire school. And so it was weird. Our school was called the Crestview Rebels, and our flag was a rebel flag, and it was so fucking bad. And
in Ohio. Ohio.
Right. Middle of fucking nowhere, Ohio, where obviously racism very still alive, and bullshit like that. They've since changed the flag and changed the image of the school, and things have gone in a little bit of a better direction there. But we're the 3 only juggalos in this school, and definitely the outcasts. Not fitting. Everybody riding their tractors to school and shit. So.
Yeah, I wasn't that bad. As far as the tractors go, but we are adjacent to where I live now. Right, we are adjacent to a place that does. So
yeah, you're familiar with the redneckness of Ohio.
Yeah, and the rebel flags in Ohio always get me, because it's like it's one of those things that I think you're dumb if you fly one. It doesn't bother me. If you want to, be my guest.
Right.
But I still think you're dumb for doing it, because it's like when the losing team of the Super Bowl gets all their shirts sent to the third world countries. That's what it's like. It's like wearing the T-shirt of the losing Super Bowl team.
I feel like, and all these people fighting for its heritage and its history, or whatever it really means to them, or whatever. It don't fucking matter if it means that to the majority of people. When you see that flag, you know what it represents, and if you're choosing to represent that flag, then you are putting yourself, whether you believe that or not, you're putting yourself in that category. So just don't, fucking take that shit down, get rid of it. Yeah,
and I know I don't do politics on this show.
Yeah, I know.
This is on, but it's on. No, it's fine, because this is on topic. So that's perfectly okay. But I want to warn everyone, we're not getting political here. I promise.
Right.
But even when they talk about that heritage over hate, what heritage? What you live in Ohio? what are you talking about?
Yeah,
Like, that's the
not
shit
even
that
close to the
bothers.
South. Yeah,
Just,
right.
it doesn't mentally, it doesn't make sense. What heritage are you fucking talking about? But anyway, that's neither here or
So
there.
yeah. I know.
But
I didn't mean to even get on that topic, but fuck the rebel flag. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, right. Again, that's, it is what it is.
But I mean, yeah, and that was it. We grew up, Great Malenko was my first introduction to that. Then like fell into like Beverly Kills and Riddlebox and all those things. And then of course with that came Twiztid and the Fatter Whack cassette. We were bumping the
Mm.
Fatter Whack shit back in the day, and yeah, definitely just went all out Juggalo. From then on, that's all I've known. So here we
Yeah.
are. Yeah.
So you said that you used to draw a lot of things for your friends and you've always been artistic. Was that something that you just naturally, like one day as a little kid, you just started doodling and realized, oh shit, I've got this ability to draw? Or would you do any kind of schooling for it? How did you come to find out that you were such an incredible artist?
I mean, thank you for one, but definitely my mom and my dad and my whole family just encouraged me the whole way. Anytime I won't say that I was good at the beginning, you know what I'm saying? But I've been drawing
Yeah.
since I was born. So it was just always encouraged from my family and my friends to keep going. And I think that encouragement helped me evolve it into what it is now, because now I'm still not where I want to be with it, but I definitely have evolved it over the past 40 years. So, and there's more I want to learn and there's more I want to do for sure in the future. But it definitely started out with me just drawing characters like Mega Man and Mortal Kombat and Super Mario Brothers and shit from when those games were first coming out. We were
Yeah.
first getting into that shit when playing Mortal Kombat on my dad's the first computer that a family had. We were sitting there playing Mortal Kombat on it. So um, the drawings came from those things, and people would pay quarters, nickels, whatever, for me to just draw them something at school, like fourth grade and shit. Just I had pink paper. My mom, that's all we had at the time, was just this big stack of fucking pink paper, and she's like, "You can use this for whatever you want." And I took it to school and would draw on this pink paper and sell it for a quarter or whatever. The Mario Brothers or whatever, aliens and shit,
Yeah.
and it just evolved into what it is. Yeah.
I am so happy that after almost 50 episodes, we're finally talking about Mega Man. I don't think people
Fuck
quite,
yeah.
I don't think people quite understand, like, history has forgotten just how fucking dope Mega Man was at one
Those
point in
games
time.
were impossible when
Impossible.
I don't know how people could do it, but I could never beat it. Like especially like the first and second one. Like I was
Yeah.
never very good at them, but I love playing them.
Yeah. And I don't
That
think they've,
yeah,
go
go ahead.
ahead.
The original Ninja Turtles game for Nintendo too, or for Super
Oh,
the regular NES. Yeah, that's another one I could never beat until now, but now I can beat it because I've got the fucking
yeah.
walkthroughs.
I think as far as I ever got, I think I might have gotten a stage or two past the seaweed level in the very first
Oh
Ninja
man,
Turtles game.
it's
But even,
anxiety at its finest.
oh God, man, I don't think I ever beat that from start to finish. Even now, I've got the Cowabunga collection. I still
I
don't think I have.
Yeah, I would say that I still haven't beat that game. I think
Yeah,
the
yeah.
furthest I've gotten was to the very end, and I keep dying. So, and there's no save, so it's like you got to go back.
Right. Yeah, right. And I think that's one of the reasons why games like that don't really translate well anymore is because, like, I've got a guy I work with. His name's Greg. Greg, if you're watching, what up, buddy?
Hey,
But he's a younger kid, and he's just, I think, when was this? It would have been in the spring of this year. He just did his first playthrough of Metal Gear Solid for the very first time ever,
hmm,
and he's not he still hasn't finished it right now as we're talking about this because there is no save button to where you can just,
right?
there's no DLC you can get. There's no cheat codes you can use. There's none of that to get you past a certain level. Same thing, like
Hmm,
you said, with Mega Man. Same thing with, like you said, with the Turtles. So I think that's one of the reasons why those games don't translate well to
yeah,
to today, because there ain't no pay to play. You know what I'm saying?
right.
You have to beat it. You have to
You're,
strategize. You know what I'm
you're either
saying? So
beating that shit in like 24 hours, or you're not doing it.
yeah,
Or you
right.
leave your fucking Nintendo on overnight and hope it doesn't overheat and whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Right, yeah. But anyway, man, that's why I love doing shows like this, because you go off on tangents I didn't expect to go off on, but I love it.
Yep.
So at what point did you start evolving that craft of the artwork? Because obviously we all know you as a musician as well. And there's a lot of dual musicians out there. Like I know obviously when I was in Menace to Sobriety, I would not only do our graphic work, but any video work that we would do that I could do on my own anyway. Obviously nothing on the level you could do. But there's, especially in today's day and age, there's always a need to be able to do more than just do music. And that's something I had a conversation with Lee Carver of AXC multiple times. You're not just a rapper anymore. You're a graphic designer. You're a video editor, whatever it might be.
A jack of all trades type situation.
A jack of all trades. That's my long-winded way of saying that. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So at what point did you start honing your craft, or when did you decide, hey, I'm really going to go after this and put some time and effort to evolve?
Well, I always say that I was born an artist, but I became a rapper. So like, art was always the number one for me, creativity and just expression of art. And then it like, what was it? 2008. I just decided that I was like, I need to go to school for this. There's so much more I can learn. I decided to go to Pittsburgh Technical Institute for graphic design. I had my mom co-sign for the loan and everything, and I paid it all myself. And also, did the course for 2 years of graphic design, perfect attendance, 4.0, high honors, all the good stuff, one of the top of the class. And I went knowing this was years after I graduated high school. So my mind's a little more developed. I'm, ready to learn, not to go to party, not to go to hang out and make friends. I'm going to school to learn graphic design. I knew that going in. I said it from the beginning. I'm going to do this. I want a 4.0 when I'm done. I did 2 years of graphic school, which is not a lot. And there's so much more I could learn now. But that kickstarted me into the graphic design world, as before I was just an artist, doing designs for local rap groups and myself and my coloring book and things like that. And so that slingshot me into a career, essentially. They got me started working for Opus One Productions in Pittsburgh right out of PTI as an internship. And that's Opus One runs venues like Mr. Small's Theater, Stage AE, Club Cafe, a bunch of different venues in Pittsburgh. And they also manage bands like the band Lotus, who is, they're like a indie jam band type deal. But they manage all kinds of bands. So I was working there for the different venues, doing show flyers and things like that. That was my first real graphic design job. But at the same time, I got hit up by Psychopathic Records to do design work for them, because Rachel Paul had passed along my coloring book to them, and they wanted me to do some t-shirt designs, and that sprung into that. So I'm doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that with Psychopathic and Opus One Productions, and then it turned into Majik Ninja Entertainment, because we all went off and did our own thing.
Was there any specific designs that were used by Psychopathic? Well, it could have been t-shirts, whatever. Was there anything in particular? Because again, I mean, if you were a fan of Psychopathic at one point in time, we've all experienced it. If we work with these people, there's at one point we're like, oh, working for Psychopathic. Was there anything in particular that sticks out to you, or like, I am more proud of this than most other stuff while you were working for them?
I mean, immediately, obviously, the vibe was, yes, I'm super excited to even be a part of doing this now. So everything was, every time I got a piece approved, it was a dream come true. It was like, holy shit, I can't believe that I'm actually doing this now. And I guess the pinnacle of my career with Psychopathic for the 3 years I was with them would probably be like, I don't know, stuff that I can't even really claim, because it was the 6 Joker card box set. I didn't design the Joker cards, but definitely being able to design the box set that they came in, and to put my name on the back of that and say that I had a part in that is just like, fucking 6 Joker cards. It's the pinnacle of every juggalo, so, or at least the old school ones.
It's why we're sitting here. right
Yeah.
now. And I
Right.
think we've all forgotten that. Not I shouldn't say we all forgotten that. Most have forgotten that.
Yeah. But one of the really cool projects that I got to work on from them was Jump Steady's spoken word album, The Road. So that was a pretty fun one to work on, even though I got in a little trouble along the way. But that's another story for another time.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
So when you started learning the graphic art side, going to school, was there anything in particular? Because like for me, I have trouble learning new techniques. That's always been one of my issues. Like I just this year, because I had to do this show, learned how to use the lasso tool on Photoshop. Like I am very stuck in how I do certain things, and I don't challenge myself to learn more. I should, but I just don't have the patience to do so. So
I get it.
that's kind of my Achilles heel. Was there anything when you were in school, or in general, I guess, when you were trying to level up your graphic design that was a roadblock for you? Was there anything that was harder to really pick up on? Or was there something in the opposite route? Was there anything that you thought, oh God, I'm never going to get this, and you picked up like that?
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, like when I was in school for design, as soon as I graduated there, the graphic design world took a giant leap and forward. Like everything changed at right as soon as I graduated, and so a lot of the 3D stuff and a lot of the AI and animation stuff that I did not get to learn while I was at PTI immediately took a huge jump towards the future after I was done. So there's a lot of things there that I want to learn, like animation and 3D, but now I don't have the time to really to learn a new trade. And I'm learning video editing right now. We just finished my new video for Ain't No Stopping Me last night, literally. And that's coming out probably in a week or two. But so I'm learning things. I want to get into animation. I have an idea for a cartoon. I know after watching some of the shit on like Adult Swim and shit like that, there's no reason that my cartoon couldn't be on there. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like if I just took the time and made it, it could be on TV or on what streaming service, whatever. There's so much bullshit out there nowadays that there's no reason that I couldn't fucking do the same thing. You know, growing up watching South Park and seeing how they did everything is a big inspiration towards me wanting to do that as well. So animation though, the process is fucking terrible. I hate it. So you gotta I know there's better ways to do it than drawing everything frame by frame, but essentially you either got to do it by hand or do it on a computer. So it's still just a process of repeating the same thing over and over and over again. And
Right.
when I was in school for graphics, we had to do thumbnails for logos and shit and storyboards and things like that. And I absolutely did the very minimal there when it came to that stuff because I hate it so much. It's like when they tell us when you're doing a logo design for somebody, you want to give them, you got to have storyboard or thumbnails of different ideas or like 10, 15, 20. Even they had us doing up to 100 different logo thumbnails for something just to get us in shape for what the industry demands. Somebody
Right.
like Disney or Marvel, I'm sure, which is a goal to work for Marvel one day. But
Nice.
yeah, that's the probably the end game. Little Marvel,
Yeah.
pun there. But um, um, where was I going with that? But the thumbnail process, drawing the shit like that over and over and over again, is just tedious, time consuming, and in my opinion, I don't like doing it. So
Yeah.
that's what's kept me away from learning animation or getting into that. And
Yeah.
yeah, so
Hey, I couldn't even imagine beginning to do stuff like that. It's
yeah,
oh God, just editing the show sometimes is a chore in itself. So
and I could draw cartoons all day long, but
yeah.
but drawing it to make it move and shit, that's just a little beyond my
Right.
comprehension.
Yeah.
For now.
So what was there at one point, because to make a move like you did when, because like you alluded to, I guess I should back up. the move to Magic Ninja Entertainment that you were talking about, for those that don't know,
Yeah.
what he was referring to was at one point Twiztid and Blaze and a whole bunch of other people that were on Psychopathic ended up leaving Psychopathic and started their own group. And as you alluded to, you were a part of that group. Was there ever a part of you that thought maybe I shouldn't make this jump? Obviously, at the time, now, I mean, people can read into that however they want. But at the time, there was no issues with anybody. So that never was going to be a factor. But was there ever any thought in your head where you're like, man, these are my idols that I would be leaving? Granted, even though you're moving on to other idols, or did you know
Yeah.
like now it's time to make the next step? Or what was that thought process in your head when you decided to leave and make the switch to go with Twiztid and all their group?
Yeah. By the time it happened, it was easy because, okay, now Rob Jumpsteady at Psychopathic has always been good to me and always treated me well. And we were becoming good friends at the time that I did decide to leave. But, things were happening to where I wasn't being paid on time and people were telling Rob that I was. And so
Mm,
therefore, at this point in time, I'm already sour because they owe me so much money and I'm just busting my ass to make sure they have what they need. And I'm not doing this as a fan. I'm doing this as a job. You know what I'm saying? It started as, oh, I'm a fan. I want to do this, but it never was not about being a job as well. So I was ready to be done and go find another job somewhere like in a factory or something. And at the time, Twiztid and Blaze and all them had just left. And George and I were I did a show with George in Cleveland, and he said, "Hey man, why don't you do a couple T-shirt designs for me?" So he's like, "I'll keep you busy." Famous fucking words, I swear to God. He said, "I'll keep you busy." And he brings it up a lot to me too, and we joke about it because I don't have time to think about anything else now. But um, grateful for that for sure. But so I started doing a couple designs for George. I did 3 T-shirt designs off the rip, and him and Twiztid, they all gave me their blessing to work for whoever I wanted to work for. They said you can work for them too if you want to keep doing that. There's nothing we're not gonna stop you from doing anything. They said make your money, go do this. If they give you shit about it, you could work under a different name, but just do whatever you feel like doing. Don't restrict yourself because and on the other side of things, Rob is offering me a desk job at Psychopathic as their in-house graphic designer. Now at the time, I still live in Ohio, so I I it would be a huge step to move to Michigan to be their in-house graphic designer. Let alone I'm not already not being paid properly. I'm
right.
really salty about all that. So it was like, but they also had told me that I could not work for Twiztid. So there's big deciding factor for that whole, this is, nobody's ever heard this story publicly, I don't think, but big deciding factor was, okay, you're going to tell me I can't work for them, but they're telling me that I can work for whoever and everything is cool. I have no reason to hate either side other than the fact that I wasn't being paid. And, Rob made sure that I got my checks. He took care of everything. He made sure I was taken care of. So, no bad blood there. But at this time, it was time to move on. I'm like,
Yeah.
I think that he was going to allow me to design the next Joker's card, which was part of the new deck, which was, like, okay, so as a Juggalo, that would have been a dream come true to work on a Joker card, like even if it's on the new deck. But I just couldn't do it, and
Yeah.
so I started putting my efforts into working with George, and that became a beautiful thing. We put together Majik Ninja Entertainment, and here we are, still fucking 12, 13 years later. So,
Yeah.
well, it's 10 years of Majik Ninja, but it's been 12 years since I've been working with George, I guess.
Yeah. And
Yep.
it's such a, I don't know the right way to say this, and I don't mean this to be insulting, so I hope nobody takes it that way. Nothing has ever disenfranchised me more. My 100% goal was to start working with people, like all of us, start working with people that I grew up listening to.
Mhm.
The number one thing I regret is working with people I grew up listening to. And I don't know how else to say it because it's like
No, I get it.
not only does it disenfranchise you, but I've had multiple friendships since I started becoming a promoter and meeting people, and things started taking off for me. Again, 10 years ago, around the same time Magic Ninja really started, taking off.
Mhm.
A lot of people that I considered best friends, I'm no longer in contact with. A lot. And I'm talking like 5 to 6 people have become like this with me
Yeah,
and has gone away. So it's just a natural thing. Same thing with the people that you idolize. And when you start working with them and realizing, fuck, they're actual people. And it's that saying of, I know it's very cliche, especially in today, don't meet your heroes. That's how I
absolutely.
feel, you know?
Mhm. I will say that absolutely is a thing. That another thing that turned me away from them was how, well, when I introduced myself to Violent J for the first time. He wouldn't even look at me, and he shook my hand and just kept watching what he was watching. And it's like, uh, it just felt like he didn't give a fuck. Like I didn't matter at all to the company. I was just a low level graphics guy. I wasn't the main person at the time, and it wasn't anything like
Yeah.
they probably don't even know who the fuck I am at this point. And it's like they didn't care to know, who was doing their shit or who was being a part of what they're doing. But when it came to George and Twiztid and Majik Ninja, everybody there has shown me more respect than I ever thought I'd get, and they still do
Yeah.
to this day. And they appreciate my input, they appreciate my time, and they show that. They give me reasons to want to keep doing this. And I could go work for whoever the fuck I want at this point with my portfolio, but I love doing what I do for the fam, A,
Yeah.
and B, for my career working in a field with people that I can communicate with and have, you know, good conversations with, and productive criticisms. If Jamie doesn't like something I do, he's not afraid to tell me. He tells me, and we
Yeah.
make it look good. So
Yeah.
I think the relationship that I built with them from the beginning is turned into something amazing, and that's why I'm still doing it. So
Yeah. And I'm not turning this into a George
yeah.
Vlahekis blow fest, but George has given a lot of people a lot of breaks.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't necessarily say that he gave me a break because that's not correct. I met George when I was booking in Dayton for Odd Bodies. Um, and at the time, I literally was my very first show with Menace to Sobriety. And that's when we met and we decided, hey, he liked the venue. It was sold out. Welcome to the Underground tour, I think it was.
At
But anyway,
15, 15.
yeah, that's probably about right. Um, but anyway, that's when we first met, and he was skeptical of me, like I'm sure he is with everybody, because I was a brand new promoter in their eyes. And I mean, quite literally, from their perspective, I was a brand new promoter for them, working with
Mhm.
them. But over time, as we got, more familiar with each other, we ended up setting off the very first tour that I went on with them, which was the Spooktacular Horror Show tour. And I'm sitting here thinking about all these events and stuff. I'm like, man, I bet you anything E probably made the designs for all this shit. Like,
Both of those
this
tours, yeah, for sure.
this whole long, like at least half of it, I'm sure is probably you up here with these passes and everything.
Yeah,
But
most of it.
but
Yeah.
yeah. But so as we got more familiar and we went on this tour, he ended up giving me the opportunity for actually work with them on the Psychomania tour, which actually the stop in Pittsburgh, I think you were
Yep.
at.
Yep.
So he gave me the opportunities after I'd already opened the door, and he didn't have to do any of that shit. Now we haven't always seen eye to eye, and there were some what's the right way to say this? There was some turbulence at one point in time when things didn't pan out the way I thought that they should, but he was always fair with me. And even
Mhm.
when I see him today, it's obviously there's not much need for a working relationship now because I'm no longer doing music and or
Right.
promoting shows. I'm just doing this podcast. I mean, granted, hey George, if you're watching, you want to come on, please hit a brother up. But so that we don't really have much of an opportunity to talk. But when I do see him, it's nothing but kindness. And I've always had a lot of respect for him from that aspect because he doesn't have to do any of that shit. He doesn't
Right.
have to there's a lot of people that want his attention. So I never try to get too upset when he doesn't text me back right away because I'm like, he'll get to me when he gets to me. I'm one of 1,000. You know what I'm saying?
If
That
you
man
thought he
is,
was if you thought he was busy before, that man doesn't sleep. I'm sure.
yeah. Yeah, right.
So yeah, definitely shout out to George and thank you for everything that you've done for me. You know, obviously, and for Jay. You know, I
Yeah.
speak for everybody who's ever known George that he's a stand up guy and definitely it, he helps a lot of people out that he doesn't have to, like you were saying. Like he's
Yeah.
just he gives you a chance, and it's up to you whether you do something with that or not. You know, so that's why I'm where I'm at. So definitely,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, a lot of people have heard similar stories from other people that were at Psychopathic, and I'm not getting into a lot of that
yeah.
stuff because it's not gonna do anything but get us hate here for even
I
talking
know. I
about it.
didn't even want to fucking go that direction, but oh well.
I'm, but I mean, at the same time, it's one of those things that needs to be discussed at least. Because
Yeah,
even though somebody's going to hear this and go, Jay and say we're talking shit, no, we're not. We
no,
actually, we know the people. You literally know the people who would know because you are one of the people who would know. And I know more than enough people who would know what's really going on. And to be honest, the people that want to pretend like they don't know what's going on. You don't lose your entire label
mm.
and you're the
Yeah,
innocent
people know.
person.
Yeah, it's
You know
people are
what I'm
starting to
saying?
see it more and more every day, though. You know, it's definitely there's yeah. I don't ever want to be the one to pull the wool over or to unveil the what's behind the scenes, and that's the biggest thing for me working with all these guys over the years has been now I see how the spaghetti's made, you know, or I see how
Right.
you know what I'm saying. So I don't want to people come to me asking me for what's happening or what's going on, and I don't want to tell anybody really what's going on
Yeah.
because I don't want to ruin the magic that I felt at
Right.
one point in time. If you're still out there and you still feel that magic from the Dark Carnival or from the Twisted Serial Killing Juggalo side of things or from any of it, hold on to that because that's something special that I can't get back.
Yeah.
I still feel the magic. I wouldn't still be doing this if I wasn't still passionate about what I'm doing or who I'm working with. These guys still put their heart and soul into everything they're doing, whether people like the new music or hate it or whatever. You know, it's still 100% them doing what they want to fucking do, which was the whole point of them going off on their own to do what they want to fucking do. So,
Yeah.
and that keeps me still motivated to be a part of it because there's still passion behind it. There's still love in it, and there's still the heart behind what it always was. And it's going to evolve and change over time. That's just life. That's everything, you
Yeah.
know. It's fucking whatever music you're into. It's evolved since you started listening to it. So it's part of the process.
Yeah. And as far as what you were saying, as far as the magic goes, at one point in my life, I had two goals, and that was to see Lincoln Park, yes, Lincoln Park, and ICP live. Those were my two life goals.
Yep.
I was obsessed. I was obsessed with the idea of meeting these people and being
Yeah.
around them. And then 2 months ago, it was kind of sad when I actually sat there and thought about it after the fact. But I went to a wrestling show in Dayton, Ohio at the end of August. And Violent J was there with his tag team that he's promoting called the Brothers of Funstruction. They were
Mhm.
a last minute add on to the card. And I remember seeing that like with a week to go to the event, and I'm like, okay, but I wasn't really like super excited. Oh shit, Violent J is going to be there. Now I fully knew I was going to be the one like right in front of the barricade because I was with these group of guys who were the sponsor for this wrestling promotion called Wrestling Revolver. The guys that are sponsors of them are called the Dad World Order podcast, who have been on this show and I've been on theirs. And they were like, hey, the show's coming in Dayton because they know me. I don't fucking leave the house. And they're like, the show's coming to Dayton. It's always in Dayton. You need to come to this one. I'm like, all right, cool. So I agreed to come to this before I even knew Violent J was going to be there. And I also knew my seat, like it was the entrance ramp, pretend the microphone's the entrance ramp. My seat's right here. So I'm
Yeah.
literally standing next
Right.
to the entrance ramp. And they told me that's where I was going to be standing. And I knew this. So I say all that to point to the fact that when I heard Violent J was going to be there, I was like, oh, that's cool. And the thought even ran through my head, like, he's going to walk literally right past me. Oh, that's kind of cool. And it didn't dawn on me yet, like, that's how disenfranchised I was until after the show. Because
Yeah.
Violent J came out, fist bumped me, Like, I've got this really cool video that's been circulating online of their entrance. He came out and fist bumped me on the way back, which, by the way, the match was fucking awesome. If you're a wrestling fan, the Brothers of Fun Destruction were great. I absolutely loved them.
That's cool.
And they mixed with Violent J really well as well. But so they're coming out to go in the back, and Violent J fist pumps me. And I remember going, yeah, turn my phone down. And then halfway through the next match, I forgot he was even there.
Wow.
And that was the moment where I'm like, the magic's gone. Because I know too much. And I see these videos, and this ain't E talking, this ain't nobody but me talking. So direct your hate mail at me after I say this. Nothing pisses me off more than when I see Violent J on a fucking interview. One I just saw recently where he goes, all them guys, fuck all of them. Blaze, ABK, fuck them. I'm like, fuck all those guys.
Yeah.
Fuck the entire label that you lost. Fuck the entire label that kept you going when you were out of ideas. You can feel betrayed. You can feel betrayed all you want, but as I alluded to about 5-10 minutes ago, you don't lose everyone who's ever worked with you and it not be some of your fault. And that's, I think, why I'm more disenfranchised than ever, because I don't understand that mindset. And like you said, it's bitterness.
Yeah, I think that he's probably the one person that's keeping everything from working these days. You know, like you can see the fallout at all the shows. Don't matter what show you're going to, you can see the fallout of it all. And and we all still have a lot of love. The fan base is still thriving. It's just now everybody's the online hate is overwhelming, and things like that is what's keeping this drama alive. And I mean, realistically, that and his fucking attitude like that is what's keeping it like that. So until he changes, because all those people that are sucking on him, you know, like he's God or something. Yeah, he created everything that we are doing these days. You know, he's the reason for it all. If you want to fucking go down that rabbit hole, Violent J is the reason we're all juggalos, you know? Yeah. So, but that don't mean everything he says is right. That doesn't mean everything he does is right. And you can see where it's gone, how it is now. And it's just bitterness. It's definitely, it needs to end. And I think that when that ends, that's when the shows will start popping off again. And yeah, there are still sold out events here and there, and that's great. And things are still awesome.
No, I totally understand what you're saying. And I agree, because again, you would know, you're in the know. I know enough people that exact same things, all because one man don't want it to happen. And at some point you have to start thinking, if he really gave a shit about the scene he created, if that was his number one goal, why? You know how much money every year at the gathering they're just leaving on the table because of ego and pride. Well, we're supposed to be above it. Now I know there is some personal shit that happened, and I'm not getting into the Otis shit at all. I refuse, because that's a subject that, you know, has been beaten to death. So I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So, but there is reason for bad blood, sure. However, it ain't like you innocent, homie. And anybody who knows,
that should have never been our problem.
It should have never been our problem. Exactly. And I remember, dude, I dealt with that shit firsthand, because when I went on that Psychomania tour, dude, and some of this shit is, I am bitter with Gmo Ski, so I'll talk a little bit about him because of some stuff that happened. Yeah, but Gmo running his fucking mouth right before we left caused so much shit on that tour. Yeah, dude, and you can go back on his shit, on his page, and find a post where he thanked me for basically being his bodyguard for an entire month. People were constantly trying to fight with him. People were the infamous video that was taken of him holding the sign that said "fuck acetone." I'm literally in that video like 2 steps behind him because I had to guard his ass. So I had literally had to deal with this backlash. What did I had anything to do with it, or anybody else on that tour, or releasing a diss track on Twiztid the day before they're supposed to be leaving on tour? What is that? Is that family love? Like, and I'm not saying, I don't know. It's just, more than anything, it's disappointing that this is where we are. Because as we talked about 40 minutes ago, or however long it's been at this point, we all were in love with this. It became our life. And
Mhm.
now it just seems like a side project for everybody. And it's
Well,
disappointing.
the scene has changed a lot mentally as well too when it comes to drugs and things like that. You know, a lot of we're watching our idols become drug addicts, and then it becomes cool because they invite that into the scene and just let it. The Gathering was always the Gathering for what it was, but it has become ridiculous now with
Yeah.
overdoses and fentanyl and things like that, and it's just that whole mentality that that's okay, or that we're just going to let that slide we're in a a whirl of chaos right now when it comes to the juggalo world,
Yeah.
and it's hard to navigate that or hard to know what the answer is because it's just a free for all at this point, and it doesn't mean what it used to mean for a lot of these new kids.
Yeah.
And the respect and just there's a lot of parallels to politics and things these days with the whole thing. So it's definitely something that needs to change. I don't have the
Yeah.
answer for what it could be. Don't vote for me. I'm not your president. Just to cap this whole topic off, and we can move on. But watching Violent J at Skankfest, all fucked up on drugs, live on camera, and just glorifying that
Yeah.
shows these kids that that's okay. And I'm an advocate of psychedelics and things of that nature. So I definitely understand and appreciate the use of some of these substances, but there's a line, and on the other side of that line is shit like heroin or fentanyl or meth or crack, things that will destroy your entire life and your family's lives and your friends' lives. And it's hard for me to sit here and tell you it's okay to eat acid or mushrooms, but you shouldn't do these things, So
Right.
you just kind of life is a fucked up thing to navigate, especially in today's climate. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah,
Yeah.
watching that shit happen on, you're watching your idol do fucking ketamine live on stage, and that's supposed to be okay, you know.
Yeah. Yep. You're absolutely right. Well, let's end on a high note here because we went into a little dark space. But hey,
Yeah, sorry,
it's
man.
okay. It's okay because these are things that I think, especially when it comes from people like you and I, who saw the other side of the curtain. We don't get the opportunity to really voice these things because of backlash.
Yeah, and
And
luckily nobody's trying to stop me from saying any of this shit. They're not like telling me I can't
right,
talk about it, So it's like
right.
whatever.
And if you want to disagree in the comments, that's fine. All you're doing is boosting my algorithm. So you're not going to offend me. If anybody watching this who feels like they need to respond, by all means, go right ahead. But at the same time, at some point, you have to realize that there's a reason why things are the way that they are, and it's not coincidence. But to, 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 to go on all of the experiences you had, not just the negative,
Mhm.
specifically, is there any moments in general that stick out to you, both from graphic design, music, whatever it might be? Any specific moments that are your favorites, or life affirming goals that you accomplish when you think over your time in entertainment in general? What are some of the first things that pop out in your brain?
Not to go back, but the Gathering of the Juggalos has always been one of my favorite times of my
Yeah,
entire life. 16 years in a row, it was freedom to
yeah,
express, and it was love and family, and those were the best experiences at like a live concert situation ever, or festival, I guess you could call it. But what am I trying to say? Everything has been great. Like, I am eternally grateful for the path that I'm on and the path that I've walked. Um, though all the hardships and trials and tribulations that I've went through along the way, and that we've all go through along the way, I am everything happens for a reason, in my opinion. And so all these things that did happen along the way to cause me to be where I'm at, I'm still grateful for those bad times. I'm
yeah,
grateful for the time. Okay, so I'm a cancer survivor. I'm grateful for having cancer at one point in my life because it opened my eyes to show me a different perspective on life and the world and my family and things like that. It made me grateful. And so I think that that's ultimately the takeaway from where I'm at and where I started is like just be grateful for the life you have because it can be taken away in an instant. And
Yeah.
not trying to get down, this philosophical path with you on here, but I definitely think that the experiences I've had working with the people that I work with are things that I never thought I would be doing. Starting out as a rapper in 2004 to now I'm on songs with Twiztid they put me on a fucking vinyl. I'm on a couple different vinyl now. I'm on tracks with the guys I grew up listening to. I'm designing albums for the guys I grew up listening to. Um, it's a dream come true, really it is. And though I still get angry with my job sometimes and still get frustrated with the work that I have to do or the amount of work that I have to keep up on, it's definitely grateful. That's the word for it, and the experiences, being a part of most of the New Year's Evils, being able to design the Majik Ninja Entertainment logo, things like that, being a part of these things, it just means the world to me. So anytime that I get put on a Fright Fest or I get put on a New Year's or an Astronomicon, or I feel like, what the hell happened to where now I'm able to do these things? I'm not buying features for my album. They're putting me on their albums. You know what I'm saying? Not, things like that. And now we're doing songs together as friends instead of where some people don't have that opportunity and that sucks. But like, I definitely am extremely grateful to have that opportunity and I will not squander it. I will not let it make me bitter. I won't let it try not to be arrogant about it and just enjoy the life that I'm living. And so every moment, everything I get to do or work on with these guys or with anybody, and actually things are opening up into a whole new world of clients, I guess you could say, with George and Mike helping me work on things like Chronicon with Kevin Smith and his team, and work on things like Silver Scream Con with Spencer and the Ice Nine Kills team. And I don't do a whole lot for them, but that might change, and opening doors in different areas that I never thought I'd be doing, working for bands like The Funeral Portrait and Attila. And, I got to do some things for Jelly Roll before he extremely blew up and got super famous, props to Jelly Roll for that. But it's just, I'm still in awe every day of all the things that I get to work on. And I try not to let it spoil me, I try not to abuse the privilege, but also know that it's because I'm busting my ass to do this shit and the skills are there too. So that helps, so I'll suck myself off a little bit, but like definitely.
Man, you bring up a good point because I did not, when I was doing all that stuff with Menace, I did not take a moment to enjoy any of it because I thought the moment I could enjoy it was coming. Then the entire fucking planet shut down. And then that killed my band. And all I have is memories of working my ass off. I don't have any, there's a couple things that, stick in my head where there were first time I was ever playing a show with Twiztid was the first time I ever saw them in real life. So like shit like that sticks out. Other than that, it's just hard work. That's the only thing I remember from the 10 years or however long I was, doing the Menace thing. And when I'm doing this show now, and granted, I've got an advantage because the entire conversations I have with, whether it be an Eric Bischoff or a Ken Shamrock, it's now on video. So that it's easier to enjoy that, with the playback and the editing and stuff like that. But I am taking at least time while I'm having conversations with these people while I'm having these conversations to look and go, I'm fucking talking to Eric Bischoff, and I'm trying to at least enjoy it a little bit more because you're right. You don't know when it's going to be over or when a worldwide pandemic is just going to take it all away. So that's a great attitude to have. And I have got and always have had so much respect for the talent level and the hustle that you've done. Like I said in the intro of all this, it's always great to see somebody that takes their passion that they're incredibly good at and makes it into something more than just a hobby. So much props for you.
Thank you, man.
Hey, I mean it from the heart. I wouldn't say if it wasn't true. And I thank you for joining me today. Greatly appreciate it. You were definitely one of the people when I thought of this show, I got to get you on eventually. So I'm glad before year one is over, I was able to do it. And I always give the last couple of minutes to my guests. If there's anything they want to plug, social media, whatever it might be, websites, all that good stuff,
Mhm.
the floor is yours, my man.
I want to plug these hair plugs. No. So I recently dropped an album called Scales. It is available on all digital outlets and also on physical CD on my web store, egounlimited.fwscart.com. That's my web store, or therealinsaneeric.com will get you there too. It's got 18 tracks, features tracks with Blaze, ROC, Jamie Madrox, and Mr. Gray. Mixed and mastered by Fritz the Cat. A lot of production from Fritz. Got some production from Stir Crazy. Got some production from Godsynth. I did some production on a couple tracks. Ajax did a couple tracks. It's a banger of an album. I love the ride that it is. I love how it turned out. It only took me 10 years to get together, but it's out and available now. So go check out Scales on your favorite digital outlet. We got some new things coming that you'll be seeing at shows and things like that, like these fresh new snapback hats. So that's a new thing. New stickers and things that are coming, or to shows and things upcoming, and in the future. I try to do a couple shows every month and at least keep that going live show wise. So keep checking out on my social medias, Insane E on Facebook, The Real Insane E on Instagram. I post all my show flyers and things there. So if you want to come see me at a show or you want to book me at a show, you can hit me up on any of those pages or email me at my freaking email. What else do I got? That's about it right now. Yeah, man. I'm working on a couple new albums. So I got a new EP that I'm working on called Earth. That's the first time I've said that publicly.
Oh, shit. Exclusive.
Trying to get it out by the end of the year. I'm not going to force it, but I also don't want to take 10 years to put it on another album. So Earth is coming soon. That's an EP. And then after that will be the full-length Neon Jesus. And those are both my solo projects. But we're also working on some stuff with the No Clue crew, my old crew from back in the day. We finally have got back together to start working on some new music. And the process is crazy. Everybody's working on shit solo-wise and together. So be patient for that. But there will be some new No Clue stuff coming. And, I'll be bringing those guys on stage with me anytime that they feel like getting out and doing a show. So that's always fun to do. And that's it, really. Thank you for having me on, man. Yeah, it's always good to talk to you, Jim.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, thank you for joining me again, man. It's been a pleasure.
For sure. I'll talk to y'all soon.